welcome back to English for You for day 2 of How Do Animals Do That? I'm Kat.
I'm Mike.
And we are talking about this program where they are exploring how animals do all these marvelous and fascinating things that they know how to do that we're not very good at.
I know how. They're awesome.
Yeah, animals are awesome.
They're great.
But in many, many different ways.
That's true.
What's one of those ways?
Well, yesterday we looked at a couple of good examples, both of the bird variety. We talked about owls. Of course, owls are known for having great eyes that can see in the dark, but we also learned that their ears might even be more useful. They have ears like we do, but their ears are set at different heights, and this allows them to pinpoint sounds from far away in the total dark or when they can't even see the thing, like a little mouse that's making a sound. This allows the owl to find it, fly over and land on it, even, as I said, in the total dark. So we went from owls, one of the bigger types of bird, down to basically the smallest type of bird, the humingbird.
Humingbird.
The humingbird.
I believe it's called a hummingbird.
Ah, the hummingbird.
Yeah, so, yeah, because, I mean, their wings, I think they hum because their wings are going so fast. They're almost like bees. So hummingbirds can hover in one spot like a helicopter. They can fly backwards, they can fly forwards, they can fly up and down and side to side. They can do whatever they want because they flip their wings around so they can do things that most other birds cannot do at all. And I think that's really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. They are super cool. So that's it for yesterday. A little recap. Let's move on to today. What will we be talking about? We'll have to find out by reading the article. Let's do that now.
Reading.
How do animals do that? Antarctica is the coldest place on the planet. Even if you wear your warmest pair of boots there, your feet will still freeze off. So, how do penguins cope? They have 2 simple techniques. One is to simply sit on their feet for a while, and another is to rock back and raise their feet off the ice. However, penguins are wrapped in such thick layers of fat and feathers that they need some part of their body exposed to let the heat out. Without exposed feet, these animals could overheat in the bright Antarctic sun. Closer to home, dogs are one of our most loved pets, and they understand more about us than some of our closest friends can. Dogs can grasp when we're feeling sad, stressed, or anxious. Often, dogs can smell slight changes in our scent when we sweat a little bit, and they can see when our breathing shows signs of panic. Even when other people don't know what you're feeling inside, your dog can tell, and will often cuddle up and comfort you. There's a reason for the saying, "A dog is a man's best friend." The next time you see an animal cross your path, think about how differently it sees you and your surroundings.
Okay, so our article begins by not talking about an animal, but talking about a place. A place where there aren't that many animals, actually, but the ones that are there are fascinating, so let's go with it. It says Antarctica is the coldest place on the planet.
Yeah.
That's true. Antarctica is super cold, I believe. Yes, the coldest spot is like McMurdo Ice Station or something on McMurdo Sound down there. Anyway, it's really cold. It's the South Pole. It's that giant continent of ice and rock down at the bottom of the Earth. And what lives there?
Pretty much nothing.
Penguins and scientists, I would say, and a few rich people on holiday.
And leopard seals.
And leopard seals, yes, that's true. Seals of many types, too. So Antarctica is cold, but there's also a lot of life there?
Yeah, somehow. You know, wherever you go, you can find something that's able to live there because life finds a way.
Mostly, yeah.
Yeah. So even if you wear your warmest pair of boots there, your feet will still freeze off. And they are taking this literally. Your feet might literally freeze off. Please don't go there unless you have the warmest possible clothes and are prepared to be really, really cold even so.
That would make you feel so stupid if your feet froze off.
Yeah. And
Think of all that money you wasted on shoes your whole life.
I don't know.
Now they're just useless.
Oh well, you can sell them.
Socks. No more socks.
Right. But we're talking about this particular kind of shoes, actually, which is called boots.
Oh, I love boots.
Yeah, boots are great.
I love boots and cats.
Boots and cats, yeah, for beatboxing. Yep, boots and cats. Shoes made to protect your feet. These are boots. Shoes are made to protect your feet from certain conditions. So they're often made of leather or rubber or some other kind of pretty thick material. Like they're supposed to protect your feet. Like if you get your foot stepped on,
ow,
you won't feel as painful as you might in some other shoes because boots are a little bit hard and they
depends
cover
on the boot.
Yeah, I guess so. They cover your foot and they can go up the leg. They can go like to your ankle or they can go to your calf or your knee. They could even go as high as your thighs. Yeah, you could have thigh-high boots if you're feeling frisky. So here's an example for you. These rubber boots I bought are totally waterproof. They're great for rainy days. Sounds like rain boots.
Yeah, rain boots or gum boots, as we used to call them when I was a kid. Yeah, boots are generally designed to protect your feet in some way, right? Army boots will be tough so soldiers can walk a long way. They might be waterproof. Rubber boots would be waterproof. Winter boots will keep your feet very, very warm. And
That's
also
right.
factory workers, right? They might wear steel-toed boots.
Yep.
So if you drop something heavy on your foot, it won't break it, which is a good thing. So boots are generally, tough and will protect your feet. And yeah, if you're in a wintry place like Canada or Russia or anywhere where it's super cold in the winter, wear some boots. So, how do penguins cope?
They wear boots.
No, they don't wear boots. There's no penguin boot store. What do they do?
How do you know there's no penguin boot store?
Because I haven't seen one on TV.
Okay.
Anyways, they have two simple techniques. This is how penguins cope. To cope is basically to deal with something that's difficult, all right? Something that you kind of have to face. You can't ignore it or run away from it or pretend it's not there. You have to deal with it, but how you deal with it is how you cope. If it's a difficulty in your life and you cope well with it, well, you adjust your life, you work hard, you stay determined, and hopefully things will get better. If you I can't cope with this, I want to quit, I want to stop, I want to run away and hide under my blanket at home, then you're not coping with it very well. So to cope with something is to deal with a difficulty that you can't hide or run away from. We cope with the heat here in Taiwan by drinking cold drinks, by having air conditioners, by walking in the shade on a hot day.
Right.
It's just what you do. Otherwise, you'll have to leave the country.
Yeah, or complain about it all day. Some people do.
You still have to cope, though.
Yeah, you still got to cope. And so penguins actually have to cope with the opposite thing.
Right. They don't have boots. So what do?
Well,
they light their feet on fire.
They do not. I think boots sounds a little more plausible.
That would be cool, though.
Maybe if they had fiery feet. But anyway, they have two techniques. One is to simply sit on their feet for a while.
Oh,
yeah, because they don't have very long legs and they have a lot of fat and feathers on their bottoms.
That might be like us kind of sticking our hands under our arms when they're cold or something, right?
Yeah.
You're using your body to warm another part of the body. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. But what about the bottom of their feet? Well, this is the other part. And raise their feet off the ice. And another is to rock back and raise their feet off the ice. So they kind of do like this, or only one part of their foot is on the ice. Maybe they're sitting on it with their butt.
All right, yeah. People often move their feet around when they're cold, right? You might stamp your feet or move your toes to get the blood moving around, warming them up. So that kind of sounds like what we would do if we had cold feet. However, the article continues, penguins are wrapped in such thick layers of fat and feathers that they need some part of their body exposed to let the heat out.
That sounds amazing, given how cold it is and they still get overheated.
That's right. So from that, we're learning it's actually good for them to have cold feet because the rest of their body is so warm. Imagine you're out on a cold day and you got your sweater and your jacket, your gloves, your socks, and you're starting to warm up a little bit, right? You're starting to get warm. Well, you could take things off, but then you'll get really cold quickly. And of course, a penguin can't take off its skin. So what we might do is we might take off our hat or our gloves, and then that will let a little bit of the heat out, keeping the rest of our body comfortable. That's basically what penguins do. They're wearing a warm jacket and a sweater, so their cold feet helps to keep their body from getting too hot.
Right.
Brilliant!
Yeah, so actually we're talking about these feather and fat layers. Well, a layer is like an amount or a piece of a material or substance or something like fat, like feathers, that covers something, or it's between two other things, like maybe, you know, between the really, really cold air and their skin, they have a whole bunch of feathers. They have a layer of feathers, and that keeps them warm. Or between their internal organs, which are really important to keep warm, and their skin in the cold weather, they have a layer of fat.
Okay, so it might be like if we cut a cake in half, and there's sort of icing sugar, and then chocolate cake, and then more icing sugar, and then more cake. Those are different layers.
That's right.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, so they have layers of fat. Of course, the fat keeps them warm, like whales have fat and polar bears have fat. That's kind of like their heavy sweater. And then the feathers that the penguins have are the outside. That would be like their jacket or something. But penguins, of course, are not the only bird to have feathers. Most birds, in fact, kind of all birds, I think, have feathers. Feathers are basically things that come off a bird's wing. It's plumage. It's the thing birds use to fly. They have different types of feathers. There's the flight feathers, which are long and strong, and they use to control the wind on their wings. And then, of course, there's those soft feathers underneath, the down feathers, D-O-W-N. Those are the ones that keep them warm. Those are the ones that we might put in pillows because they're very soft. Or we might put them in jackets because they work for us in the same way. So feathers of all shapes and sizes, but basically it's like the hair that we would find on a bird. For example, birds use their feathers to help them fly.
All right, so we got these layers of fat, we got these layers of feathers, and that's how penguins keep warm. But they need some part of themselves exposed to stay, you know, not too warm. Because they got so many layers of so much warmth.
So that would be their feet, right? Their feet are exposed.
Right, and exposed actually means if you leave something without protection or without warmth. So their feet have no feathers on them. They're just skin and bone and muscle, I guess.
So they're not covered with anything else.
Right. They can only cover them by, you know, rocking back or sitting down on them. So exposing them actually keeps the penguins, like, reasonably cool.
Wonderful.
Yeah. But why do they need these? Without exposed feet, these animals could overheat in the bright Antarctic sun. So when it's not snowing and really, really cold, it's actually very, very sunny in Antarctica. Yeah, and without doing this is one of our grammar points here. Without doing something, then something else would or could or might happen. So if we didn't have or do this thing, like if penguins didn't have those feet that they could expose, then this would happen. So you make sure and use this with a noun. Don't use like, without our seeing, we couldn't eyes.
No.
It should actually be, without our eyes, we couldn't see. Or, without the air conditioning, I would get too hot in the summer.
Oh, okay. Without money, I can't buy anything at the store.
That's right.
Okay, that makes sense. All right, so there you go. Amazing penguins with their exposed feet. If we've learned one thing, it's that don't buy your favorite penguin a pair of shoes. It won't be useful. So let's look at another animal now. Yeah, it's been a little bit kind of exotic, right? Owls, hummingbirds, penguins. How about something a little bit closer to home? It says closer to home, dogs. Yes, dogs are one of our most loved pets, and they understand more about us than some of our closest friends can. Very true. It's true, people often talk about how sensitive their dogs are to, you know, feelings and emotions.
That's absolutely true, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, and when I've had dogs in the past, they definitely were sensitive to that. So the article says the same thing. Dogs can grasp when we're feeling sad, stressed, or anxious. So anxious here is another one of our vocabulary words. It is an adjective that means worried or nervous or afraid of something. Maybe afraid of nothing. You just feel that way. It's like when your body becomes tense, your heart speeds up, your breathing might get a little bit fast, you kind of don't really know what's going on. Yeah, whew, that's when you need to take deep breaths and calm down. So if you're feeling really anxious, your dog can sense that. But there's another meaning of anxious, which is not quite so negative. It means you really, really want to do something, or you really want something to happen. Like, I'm anxious to go see this movie because I really want to see it. Yeah.
So it's kind of excited in that way.
Yeah.
That's the good kind of anxious, but yeah, generally it means nervous or stressed out or worried about something.
So here we're talking about the bad kind of anxious.
Okay.
Like, here's an example of that. Marlene is a good singer, but she's anxious about performing in front of a crowd.
Yeah, she's nervous, sure.
Yeah,
That's
I would
understandable.
be too. Yeah, or the other kind. I was anxious to see my friends after school.
Because you lied about all of them and they found out?
No, this is the kind of like good anxious.
Oh,
this
you're
is like,
excited.
I'm excited to see them.
So you can lie to them. No, not that.
Hopefully not.
If you're lying to your friends and they find out, yes, that would be bad anxious. But no, you're excited. You're happy to see them. This is something that's coming up and you just can't wait. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
Just like this next sentence. Often it says dogs can smell slight changes in our scent when we sweat a little bit, and they can see when our breathing shows signs of panic. Wow, that is pretty incredible. So dogs, of course, they're not like humans. They can't sort of notice we look sad or hear it in our voice or something like that. But they can smell when we're nervous. We all know that dogs have amazing noses that can smell things that we can't possibly smell. So they use that to smell changes in our sweat. When we get nervous, our body changes and it comes out in our sweat. And there's also, they can see or possibly even hear when our breathing gets too fast. Of course, as most of us know, when you're calm and relaxed, you breathe slowly and deeply. And as you get stressed and nervous, you breathe faster and more quickly. So dogs can pick that up.
That's right.
That's so cool.
That is cool.
So yes, these are very small changes in our bodies, but dogs can pick it up. They can sense these things, these small or slight changes. That's the adjective that we used in our article. A slight change is like a small change. If someone says to you, all right, everyone, the plan tomorrow, there's been a slight change. That doesn't mean it's been canceled or they've changed every single part of it. No, it probably means something like instead of meeting at 8 o'clock in the morning, we'll meet at 8:30 in the morning. That would be a slight change or a small change. So if there's a slight change, a slight problem, a slight difference between these things, it's not big, it's small.
Yeah, so we've got these slight changes in scent that dogs can detect because they have a very, very good nose that can smell a lot of things we can't. And what does this scent mean? It's actually S-C-E-N-T. It's not scent like I sent my mail. It's actually the smell of a particular animal or a person that some other animals like dogs or maybe cats or different kinds of birds or whatever, anything that can smell really well can follow. So if you are out hunting and maybe your dog catches the scent of something that you're hunting and they follow that trail until they can find the actual thing.
Okay, so we often use scent just to talk about the specific smell of something. Like this perfume has the scent of oranges and lemons or something like that.
Sounds nice.
That's be a good scent. We can also have bad scents like the smell of garbage, but we might use another word for that like odor. Or something like that. There's lots of different words for things that we smell, but scent is sort of one of the most general and useful ones. All right, anyways, so we talk about also there panic, how dogs can sense panic by sort of listening to how we're breathing or by watching us as we breathe too quickly. That shows that we might be entering a state of panic. What is panic? Panic is basically when you lose control of your mind because you're so frightened. This is the kind of feeling that might happen when there's a big earthquake and suddenly you're not really thinking straight and you grab your jacket even though it's a sunny day and you're like, I gotta get my water and I gotta get out, and you're pushing people and climbing over desks, and it can be really dangerous when there's panic in a building or on a train or in a crowded place when people are all stuck together and there's danger around. But panic is also something that is very natural. It's just us trying not to die. That's why there's panic. But it's best if we stop, we breathe a little more slowly, we collect our mind and don't let our mind run away from us. And so we avoid panic, or we avoid panicking. We can also use it in that way. For example, here's a scary situation. Panic spread through the subway when the lights suddenly went out. That would be a dangerous place to be and not a good place to be. You're on the MRT and all of a sudden it goes quiet, the lights go out, you're in the middle of nowhere, and people start screaming. Calm down, everyone, you might want to say, because otherwise people could panic.
Yeah,
and bad things happen then.
They could push through the doors and people can get injured.
Fall down, get stepped on. So don't panic, everyone. Think carefully and listen to what the rescuers or whoever is telling you to do.
As they say, keep calm and carry on.
There you go.
Yeah, so like your dog in this case can sense when your breathing is like panicked. So even when other people don't know what you're feeling inside, your dog can tell. And will often cuddle up and comfort you because they love you.
That's what people often do when they love someone or want to show their affection and care. They might cuddle up to them. They might also do it when they're when they're cold and they want to get warmer. But basically, if you put your arm around someone, hold them close to you, not necessarily hugging them, but just kind of keeping them close to you. We might cuddle with kids when they're sad or scared or not feeling well. You know, couples, lovers might cuddle with each other in the movie theater when they're watching TV, just to, stay close. And yes, you might cuddle up with someone when you're both cold and you're outside and you can't find anywhere to get heat. You can cuddle up and use body heat. So we do that in all sorts of situations, but we do it generally when we want to comfort people and make them feel safe.
Right, or when we are, just feeling very comfortable with somebody and just want to get a little closer to them, like somebody you love. Yeah, and this comfort meaning, this comfort is a verb, which means you help somebody feel better when they're sad or when they're stressed or anxious or panicked or any of those negative emotions. If they're feeling really bad, you might want to comfort them. You say like, there, it's okay, you're gonna be all right, I'm here, hey, would you like to get some ice cream? That would be a nice way to comfort somebody. And it also is part of the word comfortable. If you add able to the end of this word, you get the adjective comfortable, which means that it's like something nice to sit on or a place that feels good to be in, makes you relaxed, makes you feel nice. And there's also the adjective comforting. If you have ing on the end of comfort, it means that maybe it's something that makes you feel better when you're feeling really bad. It's kind of soothing for you. So maybe your dog cuddling with you is very comforting when you're feeling panicked. Yeah, and another example of this is the mother comforted her daughter after she started crying.
Ah, there you go. Put her arm around her. There. Don't worry, everything's fine. All right, so back in our article, we get to this very good saying. It says, there's a reason for the saying, a dog is a man's best friend. That's something we've heard or people have been saying about dogs for a long time. Not only because dogs can help protect people in the wild or help people hunt. That's sort of what the original relationship or partnership between man and dog started as. But now we're best friends. Really, it's true. I don't know many people with a hippopotamus as a best friend. But I know a number with dogs, so it must be true.
Yeah, or crocodiles.
Or chickens.
Yeah. I mean, chickens are nice, but they don't know us like dogs do.
No.
Yeah. But anyway, the next time you see an animal cross your path, think about how differently it sees you and your surroundings, because there's lots of amazing animals with amazing abilities out there. Yeah, and when it crosses your path, when you cross somebody's path, that means it's that's our pocket phrase go for today. So actually, let's find out what it means from somebody else.
Ta-da!
Pocket phrase go!
I crossed paths with Jafar while shopping in the grocery store yesterday. 哎呀，我不过呢就在路上买水果，竟然就遇到了甲方哦，然后呢他竟然就骗我去那个危险的洞穴里面，幸好呢我阿拉丁呢最后还是带着神灯回来了，还变成了一个王子了呢。OK, cross somebody's path， 或者是呢我们刚刚说的 cross paths with somebody， 穿过谁的道路了呢，就表示你跟这个谁巧遇了。 例如呢，我在路上巧遇了甲方，他呢就骗我到这个洞穴里面，或者是呢，像在办公室啊、学校里面呢，你总是有相处起来比较尴尬一点的同事咯。I hope I don't cross his path, or I hope I don't cross paths with him again. 希望呢别再遇到他喽。
All right, we are back, and so we're talking about how animals see their surroundings. This is our last vocab word for this article. Surroundings is a noun that means the space or the environment around something or somebody. Usually it talks about like kind of a big area, like, I don't know, a neighborhood, a town, or like maybe if you're in a forest, the whole forest is your surroundings. It's actually from this verb surround, which means go completely around something. So if you say, I'm surrounded, that may mean you have people on every side of you and you can't get out. So, bad for you. Yeah. But another example of this is, I'm not familiar with these surroundings. I think I'm lost.
Okay, yeah. If you're in a new place, a new neighborhood or environment, those are new surroundings, and you won't exactly know where you are. But we know where we are now. We're at the end of our article. So that means it must be For You Chat Time, and you know what? It is For You Chat Time. How lucky.
All right, so our For You Chat question for today is, if you could have the skill of any animal, what would you want to be able to do?
Sting people with my tail like a scorpion.
Yes. But
That'd be a good one.
Useful?
Well, I could get on the bus faster. Get out of my way, out of my way. I'm sitting there.
Gosh.
Yeah. Well, that would be a little violent and dangerous, and they'd probably lock me in a jail until the X-Men came to save me. So I would probably say flying.
Okay, flying.
That's a pretty boring one, but it would be useful.
Yeah?
You know?
Definitely
You
would.
could sleep in, you could avoid traffic. Think of the money you'd save on plane tickets.
If I could have the skills of any animal, I would be like a tardigrade.
A tardigrade. So you would be able to get frozen for a very long time and then come back to life.
Yeah, frozen or overheated or launched into space.
Dried out.
You know, anything.
Tell them what a tardigrade is.
The little tiny bug.
It's a worm.
Yeah, and
it's a tiny worm.
And they can survive almost anywhere. They are amazing.
They're often called the toughest animal on Earth. But are you planning to be shot into space and frozen and dried out? Are these things that happen in your daily life and you think, gosh, if I'd only been a tardigrade, I wouldn't have been dehydrated for 5 years.
I mean, you never know. You never know what could happen.
You lead a very exciting life. I would just be flying to work.
Okay, well, you guys can think about this too, and think about, you know, if you have a favorite animal, what skill do they have that you might have as well, or you might want to have? So contemplate that, discuss with your classmates, and until we see you next time, bye-bye.
Tardigrade.
How do animals do that? Antarctica is the coldest place on the planet. Even if you wear your warmest pair of boots there, your feet will still freeze off. So, how do penguins cope? They have two simple techniques. One is to simply sit on their feet for a while, and another is to rock back and raise their feet off the ice. However, penguins are wrapped in such thick layers of fat and feathers that they need some part of their body exposed to let the heat out. Without exposed feet, these animals could overheat in the bright Antarctic sun. Closer to home, dogs are one of our most loved pets, and they understand more about us than some of our closest friends can. Dogs can grasp when we're feeling sad, stressed, or anxious. Often, dogs can smell slight changes in our scent when we sweat a little bit, and they can see when our breathing shows signs of panic. Even when other people don't know what you're feeling inside, your dog can tell, and will often cuddle up and comfort you. There's a reason for the saying, "A dog is a man's best friend." The next time you see an animal cross your path, think about how differently it sees you and your surroundings.
Vocabulary Review.
Boot. Kevin's winter boots kept his feet warm and dry as he walked through the snow. Feather. When the bird spread its wings, we could see the bright colors of its soft feathers. Anxious. Laura became anxious when her daughter was late coming home and texted her to ask where she was. Panic. Panic spread through the crowd when they realized they were locked inside the burning stadium. Comfort. Fred put his arm around his girlfriend and comforted her as she told him what was making her cry. Surroundings. Going to a strange school in an unfamiliar town, the boy was not comfortable in his new surroundings.
以上节目是由活用空中美语制作，活用空中美语杂志，请洽询全国各大书店。如欲索取试听教材，请来电02-2364-4000 02-2364-4000，或上网查询，网址是 www.english4u.net www.english4u.net